I'm Allendale Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Latest check of the surface analysis across the continental United States shows that we have cold air edging eastward more and more. We saw temperatures well below zero over a large part of the country earlier in the day last night, and that cold air is shifting eastward. Right now, the center of high-pressure circulation, honestly, is still over south-central parts of Missouri. So we're starting to see winds go to the south and southwest behind the high over parts of the Central Plains. But over the Mississippi Valley and farther east into the Corn Belt, nothing yet. It looks like it's going to be another cold night tonight as we go forward. Those south winds are going to bring temperatures up a little bit in the plains here this afternoon, of course, and then through New Year's Day tomorrow. And our attention will then focus on a weather system coming out of Arizona and New Mexico as we go into Friday. Models are still showing this storm taking an initial southerly path, so we're going to be watching for precipitation, mostly New Mexico, Texas Panhandle, western parts of Oklahoma. I don't want to rule out some light snow up into cattle country and western Kansas, wheat country up there, although I think the amounts tail off fairly quickly. The low then will start to take more of a northeasterly run as it gets into eastern parts of Texas. You'll see the first low kind of pull east, but then you'll see a kind of a secondary top and backside low that will try and form and head northeast. This is a low that's going to be bringing some precipitation, we feel, to parts of the Corn Belt as we go into and through the weekend. Still looks like the best threat of snow is going to be from Missouri up across Illinois and into southern parts of Wisconsin. Fairly narrow band, but at this point in time, where the band goes is still up for debate. Some models are trying to pull the track of this thing farther east. So we're going to have to watch very closely to see where rain develops and where snow develops. We will say this, air temperatures have been much colder than what the models were initially throwing out a few days ago across the region. Each successive model run does get colder, and this continues on into next week. So that would weigh to the side maybe of more snow or better snow coverage for this weekend. The time frame we're looking at basically is going to be Sunday into Monday. I don't think we see a whole lot Saturday yet, but we'll start to see things starting to pull into the Corn Belt then. Models are showing a massive, massive cold high dome coming down out of Canada as we go through the middle of next week. The GFS, as we kind of mentioned in our online write-up this morning, oddly enough, is taking the charge or taking the lead on this big push of cold air. It may be overdoing things a little bit, but still, it looks impressive. And one thing to note, we mentioned this here yesterday in this midday report, I'm going to be a little concerned about whether or not that cold air can make it all the way down into Florida, into some citrus areas. Right now, it looks very, very close to me. I know some guys out there are suggesting it does. I guess I'm going to be a little bit more conservative right now and say, yeah, there is a threat, but let's not talk about, 32 and 28 degree temperature readings blasting right into every single orange grove in Florida right now. I'm not seeing the southern push be quite as good. Actually, to me, it looks like it's more of an eastern push. So, for example, this high comes in Alberta, British Columbia, western Saskatchewan, comes across the northern plains, and then instead of digging south, think Arkansas, Mississippi, it actually goes more east and heads toward the Carolinas. So that's the reason why I guess I'm not in the gloom and doom for Florida boat just yet. I will say this, depending on what we see happen on model run updates overnight tonight and then through the holiday tomorrow, we might be changing our tune on that a little bit come Friday. We're just going to have to watch and see. Longer term, we see another push of cold air that wants to come in the week after next. So we've got a cold air pattern here. It's going to be a very active one, I think, eventually as well, because we've got a decent storm track setting up right now coming out of the desert southwest and moving across the country. Currently, with the cold air incursions, it really looks like the best precipitation wants to stay south. So think Texas, Oklahoma, and then across the deep south. As we head toward the middle of the month, I'm starting to see some signs, though, that maybe we bump that track just a bit farther north. And that's what's got me thinking that for the second half of January, we could see more active winter storm patterns or even precipitation patterns coming across the rest of the country. Winter starting a little bit late, some are saying, but it still probably will turn out to be a fairly decent one as we go forward. International weather, we're seeing the hot weather continue in northeastern parts of Brazil's Açores area. Temperatures today a little bit down from where we were yesterday and the day before. We've been looking at temperatures lower to middle 90s for the past few days. Today it looks like some clouds being in are keeping temperatures down just a little bit. Talk upper 80s, lower 90s. Did get some reports of some sprinkles across some of this dry area, but it's not going to do a whole lot. I'm still looking at probably midweek next week, the 7th into the 8th, as being the next good rain up in the southern Bahia, eastern Goiás area, and areas south and east of there even. And I think that's going to help a lot. The big question mark continues to be between now and then, how much stress really is there. If it's overcast like we're seeing today, that really mitigates the heat a little bit. I'm not hearing near as much talk or complaining about it today. We'll see what happens tomorrow as the sun tries to come back out. That's what we've got in your forecast at midday. The rest of South America looks fine. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.